Kwamalasamutu is a trio village in the southern part of Suriname, near the border with Brazil. It is led by Gramang Asongo Alalaparu and has around 800 inhabitants. During busy seasons, this number may increase up to 2,000 people. The community has various sub-tribes who live in recognizable clusters. In 2015, a project started within the twinning program between the Netherlands and Suriname, the Capacity Building Project. The goal of this project is to help the indigenous rangers or Busiskotu in strengthening their data measurements. This could be of very good use for the local communities. ACT Suriname and the University of Utrecht developed this project together. The community has asked for specific assistance in ensuring food security, building materials, and generating their own income. The Amazon Conservation Team has been working here since 1996. This NGO works in 4 indigenous villages: Tepu, Apetina, Sipalewini, and Kwamalasamutu. ACT has 16 employees, including 8 local rangers in Kwamalasamutu alone. They are responsible for monitoring the forest and water in this village. This makes ACT a very important employer. The Kwamalasamutu community has been asking for assistance for years. The research group visits the agricultural plots of the residents. By walking line transects, the amount of crop loss in the field is documented. In addition, leaf material and soil samples are collected to be analyzed. Except cassava rot, the village also experiences another major problem: leafcutter ants. These ants eat a large part of the leaves, which causes crop loss. IPG Pamenia, Surinamese and foreign students are engaged in research to look at what causes this problem. Ants are collected to identify their species. In addition, the group collects leaf material of the plants which are eaten by the ants and the species which are not affected by these insects. Last year, ACT placed 6 transects around the village of Kwamalasamutu. A transect is a line of 1 kilometer.
Nice. Interval 5 seconden.
Camera traps with a motion sensor were placed on these lines. If these cameras detect movement, they can automatically take a picture. Back in the village, these pictures are checked to see which animals were photographed. The team of students and rangers also checks the vegetation near the camera traps, and they examine the different types of trees. They hope to get an idea of where the animals come and link this to the plants that grow in these places. The villagers said that they have to travel further to find wild meat. So the team is trying to establish where the animals come and how often. This will give a better picture of the species of wildlife and protein availability, which leads to food security for the benefit of this community. The residents of Kwamalasamutu use the leaves of a plant called tassi to cover their rooftops. The local community indicates that nowadays tassi is increasingly difficult to find. Often, they must walk a lot further to harvest the plant. Because of growing population, there is a much bigger need for it. Therefore, research is done to find a sustainable way of harvesting tassi. In 2015, ACT started an experiment where the tassi is cut in several ways. This year, the team looks at the way in which the tassi has grown back so that they can analyze the effect of the different cutting methods. The height of the plant and the number of leaves are measured. In addition, it is checked whether the plant has new leaves and if it bore new fruits. This provides an indication of the likelihood of survival and the quality of the plant. Finally, a light measurement is made. The density of the canopy of the trees is examined and soil samples are taken to examine factors which may also affect the growth of the plant. These samples are analyzed in Paramaribo at the Center for Agricultural Research Suriname. They hope that eventually it will be able to indicate what percentage of the plant can be cut so that the leaves continue to grow back. ACT will share the first harvest plan with the community around the end of 2016. ACT is conducting a stingless bee honey experiment together with the Ministry of LVV. Stingless bees produce less honey than the African ones. Different types of stingless bee honey can be found around Kwamalasamutu. This honey could be sold outside the village and thus serve as an alternative source of income. It is more expensive than regular honey because of its nutritional and medicinal value. In 2008, a ranger program started. Rangers were trained by LBB and the International Federation of Rangers. Now, there are 27 rangers available in all 4 villages. For 1 or 2 months, rangers and students from the University of Utrecht, NATIN and the Anton de Kom University of Suriname work together on this project, which also seeks to interest more students for a career in the forestry and nature sector. SBB is responsible for establishing and coordinating a national forest monitoring system in Suriname. This system brings all the information on the forest together so that sufficient data is available about its state. This is beneficial for policymakers and the general public. This system also forms the basis for future calculations on how much carbon is stored and released by changes in land and forest. Within this project, ACT collects data from the area of Kwamalasamutu. In 2015, 2 plots were measured and this year only 1. By doing soil measurements, the carbon part below the ground is also determined.
Ring nummer 16 en ring nummer 7, 19 gaan we nu in de grond doen. Met de scherpe rand gaat dat in de bodem. Het helemaal gevuld is. Gelijk aan de bodem. De doorlaatbaarheid is slecht. We gaan er dan vervolgens dicht maken.
The team also measures the light coming from openings in the canopy. These openings are caused by fallen trees. The National Forest Inventory also collects data on carbon stocks by doing tree measurements. The height of trees is first being measured with a clinometer. These measurements ensure that every individual tree condition is being examined and watched closely. Afterwards, the diameter is measured on breast height and the trees are marked. In order to give species a scientific name, they must collect plant material, after which it can be brought to the herbarium and be named. Macrofungi, or mushrooms, can show the relationship between decomposition and organic material. Mushrooms and fungi change color over time. Therefore, a color card is used on location to determine their correct color at the exact moment of observation. Thrionative Korotai is part of the group to ensure an accurate description. The extent to which production and breakdown of the forest manifests itself is indicative to its condition. Besides the collection of carbon stocks, a broader data is collected during the National Forest Inventory. When measuring the trees, lianas and palm trees, the diameter will be measured at breast height and the height of the plant.
Alright. Muta. Korotai. Soort heb je al toch?
Yes.
Dit is kleiner dan 5. Wanneer? Wakapuima. Je gebruikt eigenlijk direct. Isa? Kasia. Of Bujasi. David. Is wel medicinaal? Gebruik voor Bujasi. Lees me achter. En at soort to this? Saan dit? Want mo markia dit no. Aidika soso. Ashosho. Aidika ashosho.
Two of SPB's tree experts assist in the naming of young trees so that this happens consistently.
Sweetbonkie, nog 1. Hoogluid kokkerikje 1. Letterhoofd. Ja?
They will be also looking and measuring standing and lying dead wood.
2 meter 40.
All this data supports sustainable forest management in the broadest sense and therefore also the sustainable development of the country.
Goede.
During this project, the ACT team received the full and most friendly cooperation of the residents of Kwamalasamutu. It also was a huge learning experience for all students who participated in it. But ultimately, ACT hopes that this project has made a significant contribution to the preservation of nature that is so important for the residents of this region.